Hello. Today I'm gonna be doing some coloring. I'm really tired, really sleepy. I don't even know why, because I got a decent amount of sleep, but just my brain said I refuse to turn on. It will not be productive today. That's okay, I'm gonna just do some coloring. It's gonna be a relaxed stream. Compared to yesterday, because I'm just doing colors, it's not intense or anything. I have a ton of pages actually. You can't see them all, but there's so many of them. Fuck. That's the wrong... Oh no. I pressed the wrong thing and it's adding a page. Shit. Oh, I'll remove it later. It's fine. And I also shouldn't show this on the side. I have this one which just needs a background, but I want to do it right now. And it needs those elements as well, but I'm not showing them. This one, same thing, just a few backgrounds. This one, there's some line art missing in the first two panels, but I'm still gonna do the colors for the characters on the first one and the last one. This one. This one. Oh, shit, I forgot to hide the text. Whoops. Oh. Okay. Very practical to have two screens. Why is there... Okay. This one is... There's no text and this one is no text. Just pretend like nothing happened. Yes. This page, which has no text, thankfully. And it's not the first page with Abby, because there's one in between, but the line art isn't done. But yes, Abby gets there. Finally, another one. And another one. So that's a ton of pages. I don't think I can do them all today. But I can do some of them at least. Okay, that's annoying actually. Delete. Yes. I don't need it. And yes, I want to see how much of this I can color. And that's going to be my productivity for the day. I'm pretty sure. And I've said it yesterday, but I'll say it again. This afternoon I'm going to be streaming some Genshin. On Twitch only. But still. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to do some of these first. Yes, okay. I don't need these two right now. I mostly need this to have a reference for their colors. That's very highly stabilized. Okay, whatever. Much better. This is still chapter 9, which I feel like I've been working on it for a million years, and it's still not finished. I don't know how much longer it can take me. I have a tracker, and I've been putting the time that I spent on it in there for like every step on its own, and it's already at over, I think, 15 hours. But for one of the chapters, I don't remember which one, I spent a total of 15 hours doing inks and color, which is kind of insane to think about, and really makes me wonder how some people do it to update weekly with like 60 panels. Because my last chapter, which was a few days ago, had the required number of panels, and it took me a million years to do. So I don't know how you can do it weekly and not go insane. I don't work on this like all the time. It's not my main thing, but I think I would probably go insane if it was. Has she removed her jacket? Yes, already. Okay, good. And I don't know, it's just, that's the same color actually. I'm an idiot. It's already so much stuff to do, and I'm only doing one chapter a month, which is crazy. And I know it's why there's like assistants and stuff, but still. Some people do it on their own, and I have no idea how. They're way stronger than me. I could never. At least I could never without a huge buffer. Like 3 months of buffer just to be sure I'll be fine, and I'll probably still be stressed out. I actually started this one with no buffer basically. It's just one day I said, okay, let's go, and started and did a few pages, a cover for the story and a cover for the chapter, and said, okay, let's go. And that was it. But after that, I had a bunch of buffer pages, and at some point I had over a month, well, over 2 actually, I think, last year before September, and then it all got released and I worked on other stuff. I went to see my dad, I did a bunch of things, and suddenly I had no pages left ready to go. And I haven't missed an upload, but I've also had times where it was really close. Like I finished the pages on the day. And I hate that. I hate that. So I'm trying not to do that anymore. I'm trying to have a lot of pages ahead. And doing them in order helps, but sometimes it's just boring. So I've been trying to finish the entire chapter and not just thinking, oh, I have those like 3 pages for this week or next week. Don't care. Okay. That's the color of her shoes as well. But yeah, I'm timing everything to also see what takes me the longest and see if maybe I can optimize it. Which so far, no. That's the second color, isn't it? Yes, and it's also the color of Mari's jacket. Haley's jacket. Not forgetting the pin and the patch for once. I don't think I missed them on any of the panels, but unsure. I tried to be really careful about it. And her shoes are the second color. I haven't done a lot of coloring recently. I've done mostly inks. And with this chapter I have only very few things left, which is very nice. And I've done a few sketches and inks for the next chapter, but nothing in order for sure. I also still need to figure out the cover situation. I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah, okay, it's the same one. That's fine. I'm also not sure I'm gonna be able to do enough covers for the second volume, because so far I've done horror movies I've seen, which was the rules I set for myself. Horror movies with interesting posters that I have seen, for sure I've seen. And I'm running out of movies. I've seen a ton of horror movies, a lot of bad ones, but a lot of them have like boring posters, or the group kind of posters where there's like all the characters with the most famous actors at the front. And I don't have enough characters to do that. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to watch more horror movies, which is not great. Most of them I don't enjoy. I'm thinking of looking into shows, because I'm sure there's some that I've seen that I could use. I have a long list as well. I need to convince my friends to do more movie times with horror movies specifically, but the non-traumatizing one. The ones that I can watch and not get nightmares for a week. Because that's annoying. I actually watched The Exorcist with them, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I haven't, my partner watches a lot of horror movies. They really like it, but we haven't watched it together because they don't like that specific movie. And I'd heard that it was like shocking, so I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but it was actually really good. And me and my friend Hex were simping over the outfits the entire time that the mother wears. She's so stylish. Her clothes just always look so good. And we were like, oh, I would love to rob your house, and especially your closet. Like, yeah, your daughter is getting possessed and stuff, but actually, there are more important things. But outfits in film is something I've always really been interested in. And when I was in school, we had a film class, which I was not very good at. Like, memorizing the types of shots and their names is not one of my skills. I can recognize them, I know what most of them do, but like naming them is very hard. And the teacher would give us a small portion of a movie, usually the intro, to analyze, and we'd have to write a very short analysis on it. Think like no more than 3 pages at the very most. This wasn't like a hardcore class. And he gave us, I remember the most, one movie, I don't remember the name. I think it's Mystic River, but I'm not entirely sure. And the beginning is just those 3 kids getting kidnapped. They're playing in the street. There's some guy who comes up to them and talks to them and gets them in his car, and they're basically taken. The rest of the movie is horrible, very sad, but we just had that section, and he gave us a summary of the rest of it. And so we had to do an analysis on this and talk about the shots, the characters, everything. And half of mine was just talking about their outfits and their accessories, how they were dressed. Oh shit. Some guy was wearing a ring or something, and just that was basically all I talked about. A few notes on the shots and the composition and everything, but just, and also he's wearing an ill-fitting suit, and also he's wearing that. I just think it's so interesting. And it's not very often mentioned. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, except for like historical movies and people questioning, is it accurate to the time or not? And sometimes it's important, but sometimes it's just not the focus. Like, sure, your movie can be accurate to the time, but it can also be not accurate and really stylized and interesting. If you're not making a documentary, you don't have to make it accurate, I think. Or like a historical, a biopic or something. But yes, that was my favorite part of film class. Because since I was doing animation, a large part of it was dedicated to the history of animation throughout the world, not just like Disney and stuff, other things as well. And a lot of it was really weird. Some of it is still in my YouTube watch list. It has been for like years. Hi G. Streaming with belly exposed, how blasphemous. I know, right? It's summer. No, it's not summer, it's barely spring. But in my heart, it's almost summer. We're gonna get sunshine and warm temperatures. And also I wanted a cooler outfit. something more fun. I have another design for this afternoon. Yes, I made 2. Monday I said, oh, you know what I'm gonna do today? Instead of anything on my list, I'm gonna redo my little PNG tuber. And the first version was really ugly and I wanted to cry and stop, but I had committed. I also wanted something that went better with the overall theme that I have going on. I wanted more stars, more gold. I'm thinking of doing something like more complex with like more elements, but the software that I'm using right now doesn't allow me to do that. So I'm gonna have to learn something new. A new program for that. I do indeed love the proud feminine goddess vibe. Radiant if I do say so myself. Thank you. I'm very proud of it as well. Love the detail that the halo bounces independently. The halo is linked to the front of the hair, which is dragging behind the face, which is dragging behind the body. So it's all as a whole way this is organized. That's called Live 2D. Yeah, I know. But it looks scary. It looks really scary. And also there's the thing where I have no webcam so far. So it has to be only voice activated basically. Or I can have like animations that go on loop. I'm not scared of that. But it can't be face tracking. So a whole nother can of worms to learn and very expensive. Ugh. I'm guessing it's also a subscription just to make things even better. I hate subscriptions. I'm tired of them. It used to be a one-time purchase, but these days it's subscription. Ugh. Amazing. There might still be a one-time purchase option buried somewhere, because a lot of software still have it. It's just not advertised, like they hide it just to make sure you pay the subscription instead. I also know that some people do. I don't have the name right now in mind, but I've seen someone who does animation, like rigged animation in Harmony, and then exports that and uses a little Stream Deck thing to link the animations, and then do like change them through the Stream Deck, but not it doesn't show there isn't a transition or anything. And it's really, really cool, but I don't know how you go from the single animations themselves to something like that. Why, so since summer's coming, then you'd be most stinky. Maybe. Considering it's raining right now, it's gonna take a while. But unlike my humid environment, you'd be a bit more comfortable. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if we don't get a heat wave this year. We didn't last year, which was very nice because I could still do things during the day. I wasn't like useless and just laying on the floor. But the year before that, it was just horrible. There were like from 3 to 7 a.m. you could exist comfortably, and the rest of the day it was just insanely hot, just all the time. And I was just not doing anything because it was just so warm. And it reached like 40 degrees at some point. Which to some people might not sound like much, but when usually it's considered very warm when it gets to 30, 33, 40 is like unbearable. Honestly, if you ever go full VTuber, my recommendation is to have good lighting. Maybe get one of those mini conference green screen. I don't know if that's something I would be interested in. I don't know if I would enjoy doing that. Because it's a lot more setup than I have now. There's like no wall behind me, there's just my living room. So screens and stuff is not really possible. And due to how my computer is done, basically I have my desk like this. My tablet screen is here and there's an arm here. And this side has to rest against the wall. It just has to, otherwise my desk is very likely to topple. Because it's just a big piece of wood which is very heavy but not heavy enough to counteract everything on it. And like support like this. And so it has, this one has to be against the wall. Otherwise it will fall and I'm not putting my very expensive equipment in that situation. But yeah, maybe I will. I don't have the equipment for now, that's for sure. Time for a new desk. But I like my desk. It's very nice. It's just a basic piece of wood because when I was looking at desks a long time ago now, they were all really expensive and I knew, like I do painting and stuff, I knew it would get scratched and stained and stuff. So I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a nice surface that would get destroyed within the year. And so I just didn't. And now it's full of paint, which will never come out. But I don't really care. I have wide sheets of paper for when I want to take pictures, like A3. No, larger than A3. I don't know the name of it, of this format, but it's very big sheets of paper that I use as background for photos. You'd be surprised, even on the student's allowance on mine, it's just scratched together the equipment for it. Usually cheap ring lights and stands don't cost more than 20-ish. And the green screen circle was like 40. Oh, okay. I didn't know you had that kind of equipment. I think the equipment wouldn't be the biggest problem, it would be more the setup of the space that I'm in. Like how the space is organized, what I can and can't move, because I'm right next to the Ethernet connection and there's a large window that I need to be able to open in summer to just not be too warm. So there's that. And we have a bunch of furniture that is attached to the wall and can't be moved. So lots of things to consider. I forgot that she was already wearing it on this art. This and this color. The best part about this stuff is that it's portable and easy to pack up. I used it during my time living in a shoebox of an apartment. Very brave to carry your things around and like set up in different places. Could not be me. Shit. My friend Peachy did streaming when we were in school already. And on the weekends she would go back to like her parents, because she technically lived there and just stayed in the city for school during the week. And so she would have like her whole setup in her apartment, and then she would pack it all up and take it home to live during the weekend. That was like a ton of stuff to move around. Like a life of a cameraman, videographer, really. Yeah. There's so much equipment. There's so much of it. I don't have a ton of stuff, because for a long time I had only a laptop, so it was like everything was on there, and my small tablet. But I do have a million cables. Half of them I don't even know where I got them, and it's just, what do I do with all of this? A ton of them I should actually put into like the recycling. Because they're for long lost stuff that doesn't exist anymore. Funny enough, during photo shoots I have to unironically rock a fisherman's vest over my sweater for all the small bits and clips for my equipment. Yep. You need all the pockets. All of them. Honestly though, if you have like clothes that have a ton of pockets, no matter what they're intended for originally, they will be repurposed. I think her phone is dark as well. Okay, it looks stupid here, but it's because there's the speech bubble in the front. My fisherman, because if I wore a military rig, some nitwit around here will report it to the police. For what? Wearing a jacket with too many pockets? One thing I'm not excited for in spring is the fact that I'm gonna have to carry a bag around. Because I can't survive with just 2-3 pockets. I need more space. not have? Maybe not. We haven't seen the front of our phone, actually. Apparently around here, if you wear any military gear or military-esque cosplay, folks would get paranoid. That's everywhere. That's honestly everywhere. What kind of... I think I'm just gonna do this. Yes, okay. That works. Even toy guns are banned here. The realistic kind. And I'm gonna also add this one. You can clearly see I gave it my all to the map. Maximum effort. Bam. And it's only been 30 minutes. Only the overly exaggerated guns like Nerf guns are allowed, but you have a whole sword on display, nobody bats an eye. I would love to have a sword. I would so love to have a sword. It's just more fun. I would need some training to be able to whack people with it, but I have faith in my ability. My motivation to learn how to use a sword. Well, not learn how to use it for real, but like enough to look cool. I'm not gonna do actual battles. Team definitely sells good props for cheap. I've seen some actual metal armor bits and gambles on AliExpress. Really? I would expect that's the sort of thing that doesn't really sell. Sadly, in my family, they were all farmers on every single side that we've been able to track down, so no swords for me. We have a ton of old, very old farming equipment though. Just laying there. Of course at historically accurate prices. Well, you're not gonna sell it for cheap if you're the only one selling it. And we're gonna put this one for her. When I was in high school, I went to one of the biggest, well, probably the biggest convention in France, which happens in Paris. And I was under 18. I don't remember what age I was, but 16 or 17. And they were stands selling like daggers and swords and spears and a ton of really cool stuff. But you have to be 18 to be able to buy it, and they check. So I just was looking like, oh, one day you will be mine. And then I never went again, so. I wouldn't be able to display a sword the way it deserves right now. Not gonna lie, my most favorite kind of helmet is the French bassinet housegull. I have no idea what that looks like. My knowledge of armor is funny clinking noise, insanely heavy, annoying to draw. That's it. It's the one with the pointy nose. Oh! Yeah, I know what those look like. They look silly. We like silly armor. I would love to do something with like knights someday, but drawing all the armor would probably take me out. Also, I'll send you the video later, but I found someone on TikTok, I forgot the name, who does a weekly challenge where you draw a 4-page manga. There's no theme or anything. It looks fun, so I think I'm gonna try it next week. The most silly looking armor is probably the helmet with the clap visor. This is called that. That sounds, well, at least you know what it looks like, just hearing the name. I'll look it up. There's so many. Wanna stream a challenge on who gets the manga done first? I'm not setting myself up for failure, thank you very much. Especially since I know you don't have class. But there's the Monster Hunter update that might distract you. So maybe I would have a chance. I think I might stream the process though. Do like all the panels and the layouts and things and the text on Monday, Tuesday on my own, like my own time, and then Wednesday, Thursday do the line and the shading on stream. I think it could be fun. It's only 4 pages. I'm not gonna say how hard can it be, because that would be cursing myself, but I'll just play Monster Hunter with my hands and draw with my feet. I would be curious what that setup looks like. Unless you do your roughs on paper. Or well, the whole thing on paper maybe. Because I'm gonna do it fully digital. I'll be real. I don't even think I have the stuff to make traditional pages anymore. I don't think I have enough paper. Like inks and stuff, that's not a problem, but paper? I want to give myself a reason to draw more for a wider variety of things. So having external pressure works very well on me. Most of the time I save time by doing the rest in my head as I game or do a different task, and then when it comes to paneling and doing the rest, I just do it in less than 30 minutes. That takes some skill. Takes some serious skill. I'm still it doesn't take me the longest to do the roughs, but like when I do my little thumbnails, I do the dialogue at the same time because I don't have a script. So it takes a lot longer because of that. But this time I don't take writing a script. Then after the rest are done, I start sketching. Yeah. I do the panels first and the text, because nothing annoys me more than being at the end, having all the art that's done and like pretty and stuff, and having to hide parts of it with the speech bubbles. I hate that. So I've been doing the speech bubbles first, so I know exactly how much space they're gonna take, and I can adjust the sketch to not be too covered and make sure everything fits within the frame. Because that annoyed me so bad when I was doing my first comic, and then I had like a beautiful panel, like say this one, and then suddenly it's like, oh, actually I have a speech bubble that needs to go right here. Hated that. I know most people do it last, but I don't know. I like to know that it's done also, because it's so annoying to do. You've definitely seen my rest. Just scratchy random shapes and stickmen with arrows. Yeah. Well, that's what they need to be, honestly. If you put too much effort into them, it's already a sketch, and if you decide to go with something else, you've just spent a few hours drawing a sketch you're not even gonna use. And making comics takes too long for me to make sketches I'm not gonna use. We're doing storyboards for an animation project with friends. And for the storyboards, it's the same. Like, you make a little character that looks like this. And here you understand that he's like walking forward, and that's all you need. And maybe a few indications on like expressions and stuff, if it's important to the shot. But if it's just a character moving, they don't need a face. And my friend Aya has been making the storyboards, and she's making them insanely detailed. They're like so clean and so detailed, and it's just the way she works. She's not doing them any other way, even if we tell her not to put too much effort into them. But that could not be me. I did one sequence, and all my sketches are like ugly as shit, and they barely have faces. except when it's necessary to understand what's going on. But other than that, no thank you. I was like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that, especially when our characters don't have a design. I'm not gonna try to give them one in the boards of all places. Sketches are cleaner than most line art I've seen. I think that can be okay if it's useful to you to do line art. Like, I know some people can't work from a very rough sketch, and some people are just like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'll just figure it out when I do line art. I know I need a pretty clean sketch. I wish I didn't. I wish I could go from really rough, almost from the thumbnails to the lines, but we're not there yet. I did line art for another comic the other day, just a panel, and the sketch they gave me was so clean. I was very impressed. It's not gonna happen early this year, but I have a project that I would like to do with a team. I think I've talked about this before. And in order to do that, I would like recruit a few people to just do the steps that I'm either very bad at or don't want to do. But if I want to do that, I need like a clean script and I need detailed stuff. If I give my sketches to someone else, they need to be good sketches, clean enough that they can understand without, because sometimes when I do the sketch I'm like, oh, I know what this looks like, I'll just do it straight when I do line art. But if I give that to someone else, they'll just be like, what is this weird shape supposed to be? And I don't have the time for that right now. I'm waiting for later in the year. I'm hoping to have enough chapters of this as a buffer to be able to organize something else on the side and be like confident that neither comic will suffer from me doing two things at the same time. Well, two comics at the same time. From what I've seen, folks use the line and curve tool to do line art, which takes a while compared to what a practice hand can do. Oh, definitely. I think you can achieve a really clean look with it, but it has to fit with a certain style. But yeah, if you get enough practice, you can do line art pretty quick. Depending on how detailed, of course. No, she's not. Okay. I thought she was missing the tag with her name at the top. But it's good. That's one thing I don't really know how to account for in projects, is the time it will take for me to get really used to the style. And suddenly, something that took me 2 hours in the beginning will take just 1, because I know the designs of the characters, I know how to draw them efficiently. I never know like how to account for that when I'm planning things. Bam, another one. And it's only 10. Oh, it feels like it went by really quickly. We are gonna put this one here for the color reference. The main advantage by freehanding it is line weight, which definitely makes it look really good. Yeah. I found that quite hard to do, because I don't want to press too hard on my tablet and like hurt my arm, but I also know that having line weight looks really cool. It's just finding a balance between the pressure sensitivity of whatever brush I'm using and the sensitivity of the tablet itself. And I tend to gravitate towards more low pressure brushes like this. Well, this was on purpose mostly, but even for my sketches I use this one, and like this is me pressing at the lightest and this is me pressing at the hardest, and it's not like a huge difference because some brushes go from this size to this size depending on how hard you press, and that's just not for me. What happens when you're in a flow state? Yes, but also as you learn to draw the thing you're drawing, because you're drawing it so much. Well, if I told you, my thumb gets swollen a lot because I set my tablet pen to very hard. That's a stupid thing to do. Don't be stupid. Don't do that. I set the pressure I need on like, I set it directly on Clip Studio so it affects all my brushes at once. The pressure I need is quite light. On the Cintiq, the screen is glass, so it's very resistant, but on my other tablet it was a plastic cover. Like there was a glass screen, but you needed a cover on top of it. It was like to protect your eyes, I think. But you had to have it. You could replace it, but it was needed. And mine was so scratched up. It was really, really bad. And I think the pressure I used to put on my pen didn't help with that. But it was $40 to replace it, so I just didn't. Also, I was looking into replacing it like a month before I bought this one, so good thing I didn't get it. Hey, it's what lets me do my clean art in lightweight. I think it's your skills that let you do that, and if you got used to drawing with a lot less pressure, it would take you like a day to get used to it, and then you'd be fine. It would be the same. I'm just very used to having a very cheap pen. As a young artist, so I would always have a death grip on it because it was so light. Yeah, but do you still have that? I have a few friends who draw almost exclusively on iPads, and you have to be very careful with the iPad because the pen is really thin, and before you realize it, you're like, oh, I've been gripping that thing so hard and my entire arm hurts. And I don't know how they do it, but also in school we had Cintiqs. I keep forgetting she has colored hair. And we had to like draw on them because the software and stuff. And I don't think I could have transitioned back to only an iPad after that. After spending a year drawing on a big tablet, I don't think I could have just went back to a smaller screen and a very different way of working. And I think for me, even if you mostly can do everything on the iPad, it's just more comfortable to do it on the computer. Also because I don't really enjoy the way Procreate works. For other things than sketching, I don't really like using it. But it's good for sketching. Then after getting my first expensive mechanical pencil, which was very heavy, my sketches became very clean. I use a tablet pen instead of a screen tablet so I can handle my grip. Okay. It doesn't surprise me that you would enjoy heavy mechanical pencil. Honestly, I can see you doing like only pages only on paper, like every step on paper pretty well. And just doing like a little bit of cleanup digitally and adding the text. I know you used to do paper pages, but like for a finished thing. Ooh, the sun right in my face. Well, I used to do that. I was a no digital art elitist. How dare you? How dare. Until I saw how much money on inks and nibs I could save by doing digital. I would expect the paper to be the most expensive part of the process. Because for me it definitely would be the paper if I did like real, like traditional pages. Real pages, oh my god. But I think there's also the fact that I've pretty much eaten the cost of the 3 or 4 bottles of inks I have and the ton of nibs, some of which were gifted to me. Like that's just basically free at this point. Because I've had it so long. But paper though. That and my favorite sketching pencil, which just happens to be a Blackwing. Because I tried them and now I'm like, oh, that's why everyone likes them. I get it now. It's just so nice. And they're so pricey as well. I would stockpile paper for cheap back then, so I'd top up every few months. But inks and nib were just spent from my death grip. Yeah. I've only broken 1 nib. So I don't... To me, it's not like a thing to really consider in the replace budget. And I have a favorite. When we did some ink in school for like doing studies, we would draw like vegetables and stuff. And some of us had doubles or triples of some nibs, and so we would swap them. And one of my friend gave me one. She had a whole box of them that she got from her grandmother, I think. Someone who bought them a while ago and just didn't really use many of them. And she gave me one, and I gave her a double of one of mine. And it's the nicest thing I've ever used. It's the best nib ever. I don't think it's meant for drawing really, but it's just so nice. And so I thought, oh, well if I break that one, I'll actually be really sad. So I looked up on the internet where I could get replacements for them. Because you can get a lot of cheap boxes that people are selling because no one uses them anymore. It's impossible to find. It's the one thing I can't find. It's like no one is selling that specific model of that specific brand. I think they went out of business too. Oop. So I am being very careful with it. I picked up digital when I realized that manga actually still needed to be digitized. So I sucked it up and learned it. At first I scanned it and painstakingly lined it in the software. Oh. And eventually it became just drawing in the software itself, and I never turned back. Yeah. Might as well do everything in one place rather than draw the pages and then scan them, then redraw the pages. I think when you do the transition, the biggest expense is like a tablet. Unless you do it with a mouse, but I think that's a good road to a strain injury. But in recent years, there's been a lot of very small, very cheap tablets. And I've seen some. I don't know who makes them. I can't find them like online. Tablets that you connect to your phone for people who just draw on their phones. I think that's really cool. My ink nibs would become unusable after a week. Because they would bend? Jesus. You need to do those exercises they make kids do to control their strength. Like when you're a small child and they give you stuff to manipulate that you have to make sure not to crush and stuff. I think that would help you. Yeah, can be sold on Temu AliExpress as well. Yes, but I can't find like a brand making them. Like a specific reference for them. It's mostly out of curiosity, because like I'm not gonna get one. But I think it's a cool idea. I would actually get one to draw my stuff when I'm away from home. Because my iPad is just dying. In every sense of the word. So gonna have to find a solution to that when I go places. Cheap unbranded tablet, could never use them. Oh, never used them. Okay. Oh yeah. You don't need multiple. Especially when you have a nice setup at home. With everything really nice. And moving it is such a hassle. I think you're talking of the Huion H420. Nothing is pocket sized. I bought it for my sisters a few years ago. She's a phone artist. Well, your sister is braver than both of us combined. I'm gonna look that up. It's today. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think that's the one. It's so small. It's a baby tablet. 17 by 11 centimeters. That's so small. Man, if I'd had that when I was in like high school, I would have just spent my whole class time drawing. Just all the time. Okay, nice. And it costs 25. Oh, it's not the same one. Well, almost the same one costs 25 euros on a French website. Almost the same one. Damn. Well, her metaphorical box came from somewhere. Me. She is the better sibling. For the simple reason that she does not call me stinky. A standard can never be. Well, to be fair, I was also already drawing in class, but I was also doing homework. My last year of high school, my history teacher was terrible. I had him the previous year, so I knew what to expect. And I said, you know what? I don't like this. I don't want to bother. And the class layout was, the teacher's desk was here. He was looking that way. He was always sitting at his desk. There were 2 empty tables here. And then there was another table, and I was here. And my friend was here. His desk was a little higher, so he had a perfect view on what we were doing. Like a perfect view down to our notebooks. And we were just doing homework. Not even history homework, just other homework. A lot of math. Because I was like, I'm not gonna waste several hours each week listening to someone who's not actually teaching me anything. I'm gonna use that time to be productive. And I did. And the first, I think, month and a half of the year, I went through the whole textbook, read everything, like read the whole textbook cover to cover. It was boring. And did like little papers, note cards to remember, to learn the dates, the events, the important things that he was supposed to teach us. And I did that the first few months. Then I did the same with geography. And then I was done. The only thing I paid careful attention to were the maps. I don't know if it's still the same, but we had one of the exams we would get was to redo a map that we'd learned throughout the year, which I think was kind of stupid. But that's the only thing I did in class, because they were picked by the teachers. There wasn't like a set map for everyone. And the one I got for the exam was the United States. And I filled in like half the cities. And I think about half of what I actually wrote was correct. I'm very bad at remembering images. And learning a list of city and what exact dots they were on the map was just not that interesting. But I wasn't drawing in that class. I was drawing in French class because I was sitting more at the back. And my teacher also never went through the room to look at what we were doing. It's when I started college that I started really drawing in class a lot. Because in high school it was like a hobby, but not my main hobby, not the thing I was doing most of the time. But in college it was. And especially like the first degree that I did, which is communication and stuff. I would just we had an English class. And we weren't like a big group. It was few of us. And just basically me and my friend, we both like spoke English. And the class was useless to us because it was very basic. A lot of the other students had a really shitty English level. And we both would just draw the whole time. And it wasn't even like the teacher could tell us something or whatever, because we did most of the interactions too. Well, not most. They were actually trying in that one class, but a lot of the interactions were from the two of us. So he wasn't gonna tell us off. I certainly don't miss that, because that was also quite boring. I've given up pretty much on remembering the colors for their outfits. It's fine. There's just too many. Coucou Chacha, bienvenue. Comment ça se passe ce matin? Ça va, j'ai pas mal de choses à faire. Oui, ce que tu me disais hier, que tu voulais finir ton script, enfin avancer dans ton script. Et les chambres, je crois que c'était. Oui, puis ma commande d'émote est la séquence 7. C'est vrai que ça. Elle t'a validé du coup les animations que tu nous as montrées? sont trop stylés. Elle veut juste une expression différente sur le visage. Ok. Ça devrait aller ça. Alright. I'm gonna take a quick break, get a snack, lower my blinds because the sun is shining right in my face again. And I will be right back. snack has been consumed, and I also realized that the water is still on in my building when it was supposed to be cut from 8 to 12, so that's nice. I might be able to do my dishes later. And also, before I left, G said, I recently watched a medieval anime set in France and was actually quite sassy but cute. And how can you say that and not give us the name? How can you give us what sounds like a cool recommendation and not give us the name? I need to know these things so that it goes into my endless watch list. I haven't been watching anything in the past week, the past 2 weeks maybe. We watched Nausicaa 2 days ago, something like that, but I'd already seen it before, and apart from that I've not been watching anything. I've just been listening to stuff on YouTube. A few classes, but mostly like videos about everything and anything. Lots of disaster stuff, as usual. And realizing I'm starting to become quite familiar with a lot of them, which I don't think is a great sign. The anime was called Mary the Virgin Witch. I watched it because it had quite nice attention to detail when it comes to combat and mercenary lifestyles. Okay, interesting. Where do I have a sticky note? Oh, I have a whole notebook now. I was tired of fighting my endless pile of sticky notes, so I just made a notebook. I want to watch more stuff, but I want to watch short things. Because we're going through, very slowly, we're going to rewatch the whole Ghibli movies, all of them. And on the side, I want to watch shorter things that don't take me 7 months to finish. And its core, it's literally, I'm just a girl vibes, but this one is literally, but I fight God. Love that. Love that. Definitely my kind of vibes. It's only 12 episodes, so I watched it in a day. Oh damn. Well, that's gonna take me longer. I can't wait to be this afternoon. I'm unreasonably excited to play Genshin. But I was telling my partner yesterday, the problem is that when I'm playing games, I always have this thought of like, I could be drawing right now. I could be making pages right now. I could be making progress on the various projects I'm working on. And so I don't enjoy it as much as if I was just like playing a game on my own with no pressure. So giving myself like an excuse to make it quote unquote productive, because it's not gonna be, gives me like a reason to not do that. And also I've been hesitating to stream games in general, not just Genshin, for a while. So it's kind of a test as well. I don't know if it'll actually be interesting, but it'll be fun for me. I bet it's because you have old lady reflexes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm gonna start a brand new save. I made an account and everything for it. And I'm gonna play Ether. And I'm gonna do the story in order. Because on my main game, I basically unlocked almost all of the map. I don't have the last zone, Natlan, and parts of Fontaine, but I have everything else unlocked, and I have most of the teleportation points. So it's like, I didn't do the story to unlock all the map. I just went around, like walked around and unlocked everything. And now when I do the story, there's like parts where I got cutscenes just randomly that were going with the rest of the story I was doing. So I'm hoping to do things in the right order and just stay in the area where I'm like doing the story part. Cause in my main game I just got to Inazuma, which is crazy because I've been playing for a long time, and also I have like a ton of other stuff unlocked. And so I'm a little lost, and there's too long in between the quests that I do. So gonna do it in a more linear way, let's just say. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about if I get a character that needs like materials from, let's say, Fontaine or another area to unlock their abilities and their weapons and things. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do for that. We'll see when I get there. I managed to fiddle with some mods to get Monster Hunter Wilds to run smoothly. Ooh. I didn't know there were mods for it. I thought it was just the base game. I'm still a little unsure about it, to be honest. And I also don't have the space on my computer right now. Which, I don't know where everything goes. Like, what's taking up all that space? Yeah, okay. Makes sense. I just think maybe the optimization part should be on the dev side, not on the player side. Just a thought. You know, it's not like computers are brand new and we don't really know what to do with them. They've been around for quite a while. Shouldn't be that hard to make them work. Why is there a random dot here? One game I think would be absolutely fun to play with people telling me what to do and what not to do is Dot Age. Because it's like, it's a game where you're the elder and there's a little civilization of people that you have to give directions to and tell them like what to do, what to work on, and try to avoid the apocalypse. You get visions of how many days you have left before the apocalypse and you have to try to make everyone survive. But the little people are very chaotic. And sometimes they're just dumb. I don't think I have it installed right now. I am a terrible leader for my people. I'm very bad at avoiding the end of the world. There's this, and there's this. For the counters and stuff, it's a problem for later. Because honestly, I can't be bothered. So I think it's this one for this jacket, this top, and this top. Yes. Funny enough, AI upscaling technology was to give older computers a fighting chance and allow for better accessibility for all PC gamers. But devs started using it to make games that are just hella unoptimized to rush out the gate. Yeah. Honestly, it's so stupid. Like, if a modern good computer, not like the top of computers, but like just the average good computer can't run your game, then who's gonna play it? Who's gonna bother? If you're something like Monster Hunter and other licenses where it's like a well-known franchise, then yeah, people are gonna buy it just because of the name and then realize it sucks. But if you're if you're making something new, why would you do that? And I see a lot of... I watch the channel Skill Up, and they do like weekly news about video games, and in some of them they talk about like recent releases. And sometimes they tell the audience, this is so unoptimized. Unless you have a top of the line PC, don't buy it because you won't be able to play it. Like, wait a few months for them to actually make it work before you get it. But I always think, oh, your game just released and no one is buying it. A large portion of people are not buying it because they know they can't run it. So it's just gonna give you shit numbers. It's gonna be like, oh, very few people bought it. Not because it sucks or because the story is bad or because no one is interested, but because they just know that it won't work. Like, that's so sad. And easily fixed. One thing I'm actually surprised by, my partner got Assassin's Creed Shadows and has been playing it for 2 weeks now, I think. And so far, there's been a surprisingly small amount of huge bugs. Because they'll just show me like, oh, the game crashed or this happened. And it's been surprisingly low. There's a ton of just stuff happening in the game, but it doesn't like crash or something. I expected more. Optimizing takes time, they said, and then some random person pushes out a mod a few weeks after release that optimizes the game for low-spec PCs. Yeah. Like, if it's so hard, why can random people on the internet that do not work for your company and have probably never seen the code of the game before do it within weeks? Like, what is the problem in this situation? Are you just hiring incompetent people, or do you just not want to do it? And if you don't want to do it, why? Because clearly there's a demand if people are doing it themselves. Did you see the thing about The Sims? I haven't played in a million years. I don't even have it installed because I know I will sink all my time into it. But I have a few expansions, a few packs, and I don't have any of the stuff packs. They started releasing them after I'd stopped playing. But they're like small, very small packs with a few objects, like let's say a set for a room or something. And they don't cost very much money. And recently they released a new one. I think it's a stuff pack and not just a pack of a larger quantity of items. That has a bug that will slowly corrupt like your entire game. Not your entire game, but your entire save. And people were showing like the stuff in their save slowly disappearing, like buildings with missing components, missing furniture and stuff. And I was never someone who played on a very long save, Like, I think the most that I did was 6 generations. But for people who play on that sort of phase and have like long time investments in them, buying a new stuff pack that the company releases only for it to completely fuck up your entire game, I would be devastated. I would cry for probably 3 weeks. Especially when they're not that cheap in the end. It depends on where you live. The price is region dependent, but oh my god. But yeah, the longest I could do was about 6 generations, and then I was like, okay. I think I'm done. I think this is taking too long. I had a whole ancestry program on my computer that I got specifically for it to keep track of my Sims, because the family tree in the game is not great, and you can't see like everyone at once. So I just, ugh. I had a program and everything. I had a plan. I had like a notebook with specifics on what I wanted everyone to do and everything. But I need to do things in my life. I can't just play The Sims all the time. And it's one of those games where I want to play it all the time. Like, I can spend the entire day on it and be fine. I don't know, man. Good graphics card is still pricey. Mine is the yesterday flagship card and it still cost me 2 months of saving. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the price of stuff is, because I got my PC pre-made. Like, all the parts were already picked. So I don't have any idea of what kind of price they are, or what kind of price would be fair for any of it. Because I didn't trust myself to pick the parts on my own and actually be sure that it would all work together as intended. And it also wasn't really trusting myself to build the entire thing. Because fixing 1 or 2 pieces, I'm okay. But some of them look kind of delicate to install. And I knew that, like, if I break it while I'm building it, that's on me and I have to get a second one. But if the company making it breaks a piece when they're building the PC, they can just get another one and it's on them. So I figured it's a huge investment. I'm just gonna let them do everything. And if one day I decide to change stuff or add something, that I will do myself. Well, if you get rich, you can technically play The Sims endlessly. Yeah, but you see, between me and playing The Sims all day, like me right now and future me playing The Sims all the time, there's something called being rich. And unless I win the lottery, and even then, it's a long ways away. There's a long road between now and just playing The Sims all day and not worrying about anything. How come Mr. Deathgrip G handles computer better? I think it's a confidence thing. I also have no one around me who knows computers. Like, if someone in my family needs help with any sort of tech, they turn to me. But that's very unfamiliar to me, building a PC. So like, who would I turn to if I have a question? What do I do? So I figured, no, let's not take a risk. Also, I needed it pretty quickly because the other computer I was doing my work on before was just dying. It was dying. And it made working really, really hard. Okay. Let's see. Because I think I did... For these I just need backgrounds. This one the line art, but then the rest of it will be just flats, so it will be pretty quick. This one is done. This one is done. This one is done. It might be... no, it's fine. And that's all of them. This one I don't have the heart to do right now, I'll be honest. What time is it? 11. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is go take a nap, have lunch. I have another YouTube conference at 2 p.m. and then I'll be playing at 3 p.m. and I am so excited. You have no idea. I cannot even explain how excited I am. And I really hope it works fine and that there's no problem and no technical issues. Because I will be unable to deal with them most likely. But yeah. I'm gonna do that. For those of you who want to watch more art stuff, I'm streaming again tomorrow, doing more comic work. I'll probably be doing sketches of line art for the next chapter. And for those of you who want to see me play Genshin with a limited amount of skill, that's in a few hours. Today at 3 p.m. It's currently 11. So in 4 hours. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow or this afternoon. Goodbye.